You're listening to Combat Radio with Ethan Dettenmeyer, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Hi, this is Ethan with Combat Radio. We're standing on Radford Avenue, right up the street from CBS Radford, where we are looking at a haunted overpass right at the CBS in the 101. And I'm actually with paranormal expert and our resident paranormal expert, I guess, Marcus Lindsay. How are you, Marcus?
Good, thank you.
And I'm with producer Loda Hadley. Loda, how are you?
I'm great.
Marcus, what can you tell us actually about this overpass?
All right, well, like you said, the Overpass is here in Studio City. It's on Radford Avenue, underneath the 101. The story actually is a sad story. It's about this man, originally named Russell, who was found burning in his car, in the trunk of his car. And it was first reported by the Studio City Patch, and no other news outlets covered the story. He was found in the trunk, but it was ruled a homicide. No, it was ruled a homicide. No, it wasn't ruled a homicide. It was ruled an accident, even though he was tied up, buried in his trunk.
It's one of those mafia accidents, if you will.
Exactly.
And what's the problem here, officer?
And
he's tied up. Can't you see that?
Tied up and burning in his car.
Right.
So when they came out here, they found a burning car. Fire department came out, and ever since then, about a dozen or so neighbors have made calls to the police reporting that there have been like a huge shadow figure, 7-foot tall shadow figure making noise. It's been reported to the local police department, and people have seen the shadow figure coming up and down the bridge, and nobody can explain what it is.
A mysterious 7-foot shadow figure. Well, we're going to take a step.
I bet he's trying to alert somebody to who the hell, because they never solved the mystery.
We will handle the criminal aspects of the case, Loda, since you're going to stay here and watch us.
I'll be safely in my car. Have fun.
Loda is going to be in the car, engine running, waiting to make a very fast getaway. You know what's interesting about this, though, Marcus, is looking at this. This is a common freeway overpass, not the kind of thing you traditionally associate with haunted elements. It's not a spooky house, a mansion, or a cemetery, or some kind of old Hollywood icon type place. It's just basically an overpass like any other. And what you pointed out was about halfway through in the darkness over there is a memorial to the victim.
And the crazy thing about that being a memorial there is, like I said, nobody reported that he's missing, he has family members, but yet there's always a candle there, or there's always something there.
So somebody somewhere is memorializing his loss.
But nobody talks about it.
Right. Here we go. Now, you said, Marcus, you've investigated this.
Yeah, we investigated in 2011, and we investigated at night. I don't know if you can hear right now, but you do hear cars going over the overpass, and it's windy out here. And just because we're outside, you pick up a lot of ambient noise out here. So to investigate, we needed a digital recorder. We had all these things to capture sound, but we couldn't do that just because it's out here, it's outside.
Right.
So we had to rely on video, and we had to try to recreate the shadow. So we took a car, drove up and down. We tried to recreate what people were seeing.
Right.
We
draw a possible real conclusion.
Correct. And we kind of did, but it was never that 7-foot shadow. It was basically a car shadow passing by the overpass bridge.
Let me just actually paint a visual here. It is an old overpass. It's had some work done to it. In fact, some of the ceiling seems to be coming down about halfway through. It's a big, what would you say, maybe 8 lanes up there. It's a long overpass. It gets a little dark in parts, and I can actually see the memorial that we're going to walk up and check out. So all right, so let's go for it.
You can actually see, too, in the pavement, I don't know where it is, but in the pavement, they had it burned. I don't know if they fixed it already, but it was burned out.
Is that it?
That could be.
That looks about like the size of a car length, and it definitely looks like some damage has been done there. It is almost the shape of a car.
Yeah.
When did this accident happen? If it was in fact an accident.
I think this happened in 2010.
So it's a couple years old.
Yeah, a couple years old. Yeah, in 2010.
All right. Well, as it stands right now, I don't see a shadow, but that's obviously not conclusive. Now, does anything stick out to you, Marcus, being our resident expert about the surroundings? Anything?
I mean, it looks like any normal underpass you would find anywhere in America. There's nothing that looks strange about it. I mean, right here, in fact, look, you have this broken fence.
Yeah.
So theoretically, I mean, it could have been a homeless person jumping over the fence with his bottles, right? And that's making a noise, and he disappears over the fence. It could have been a car going underneath the the underpass, you know, and people seeing shadows. But nobody really knows for sure, and that's the mystery about the underpass bridge.
Yeah, and what we should point out is part of your approach is to find any possible logical conclusions for what's being reported. You're not one of these instant guru, it's haunted. You need to find evidence of it and make sure that what is there is no explanation for it, because you yourself actually said that there's no way of knowing. None of us know.
People can assume that it's paranormal. People can assume that it's him trying to communicate with somebody, or there could be a logical explanation what's causing this, but nobody knows for sure, and that's what makes this a great mystery.